Hey guys, all right, so I just want us to understand any property that you are using for rentals is investment property. Whether you are renting it out or you bought it for capital appreciation, that is an investment property. Whether you are on a cash flow positive or on a cash flow negative, that is considered an investment property. I'm trying to get someone who might be getting confused because of a lot of content that's going out there. I want us to understand this thing. When we talk about investments, our reasons for investing are different. Therefore, the tenure for which we keep our investments in whatever facility or whatever vehicle we're using, it is determined by our ultimate goal, our end goal in mind. So I want to quickly address something on investment properties. Investment properties are properties that are bought not for personal use, but they are bought either to make a cash flow return, which is positive now, or for capital appreciation, which is normally a long term goal. Now, I know that I've read Robert Kiyosaki's book. I think Cash Flow Quadrant actually is where he speaks about how his rich dad told him that if he bought a property and then it was cash flow negative, it was not a good investment. Now, if you've done finance and you understand both financing, which is if ever you've done um, cost management, and you've actually also gone as far as doing financial management, where you actually get to see the different types of financing that are available in order for one to acquire investments. There are different calculations that are taken into consideration whenever you want to determine whether a project or investment is worth investing in or not. One of them is a net present value. That's when you take the cash flows after taxes, all right, over the period of the investment in order for you to determine if ever there was a capital injection that was required at the beginning that guaranteed cash flows in return over the period of the investment in which you are putting that money towards. If your net present value is positive, this is one of the measures that I use. You have your return on investment and all of that, but just want to address this one. So if your net present value is positive after taking into account the cash flow returns from the investment you have made at the beginning, then normally that investment is worthwhile unless you are comparing it with another investment that might have a higher net present value. Then you would actually opt for the higher net present value. Now, you can't just say because an investment property is not giving you positive cash flow from inception, it is not an investment property. That is not the determinant or the determining factor for investment properties, but the ultimate goal or the use of that property is what determines whether that property is an investment property or not. And I want to then say there are different strategies, though, because we need to take this into consideration, because whoever invests in property to make a positive cash flow from inception, that person understands that they might not necessarily have quick growth in the value of the asset. It's not always the case, depends. If you bought on auction, it's a different story. If you bought below market value because of there was someone who was under pressure to sell, that's a different story. But if ever one decides to buy from a developer, which is normally a property that is sold at market value, that person is probably looking at capital appreciation, which means long term, they might have to inject some cash at the beginning, and then at some point, this property is going to turn the corner because of there will start to be a positive cash flow. That's what property is about. That's why it's always said that property is not a get rich quick scheme kind of investment. You have to know that it's a slow cooking kind of investment.